So my name is Rita Osborne. I'm the founder and the executive director of the program. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all here. In the next 2 hours, you're going to learn a little bit about Rural Health Scholars. You're going to meet some amazing people that we have here to chat with you. Hopefully you're eating some good food. Please have seconds. We have lots of food. Unfortunately, we do not have forks, so you know, going into a healthcare career, you're going to get your hands dirty. So guess what? Wash your hands and eat the fruit, okay?
I did just ask for some if you really need one.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Like I said, we're very excited to have you as a part of this program. We're going to talk to you a little bit about the program, but I want to do just some quick introductions first. We have some staff that are here. Hang on.
There you go.
We have some full-time staff that are here. So our office is staffed with our full-time staff as well as our peer mentors. And so up here on the screen, you'll see myself, Amy Humphreys-Sharp, who's one of our program coordinators. Amy, wave your hand. Yay! Woo! We have Casey Lavoie. Casey, wave your hand. Casey's over here, one of our program coordinators. And then Natalie Burton in the back, who's videotaping this. Wave your hand. So these are our full-time staff that are in our office. Our office is located in the Science Building up on the 3rd floor. Come and see us. We always have candy available. We also have our peer mentors here. Would our peer mentors please stand up? Come on, you guys, stand up. Yay, good job. So have a seat. Peer mentors, you'll get to know peer mentors very well. They are the ones in our program who are in the application phase of going into graduate school or nursing school. So, for example, one of our peer mentors just went on an interview, well, yesterday, to dental school. And he flew back to be here with us. Go Colin. So we're very fortunate in our center to have peer mentors who are pre-medical, pre-dental, pre-optometry, pre-physical therapy, pre-nursing, what else? Who's out there? Pre-occupational therapy, physical therapy, pre-podiatry. So any career field that you might be going into in healthcare, we have a peer mentor who has gone through this process who's willing to talk to you about their experience. In fact, you actually have to have an advising appointment with a peer mentor once a semester. And we'll talk about that as we go forward. So I'm going to share with you just a little bit about the history of this program. I know you don't like history, but we're going to go into that. But first I want to find out a little bit about you. I asked this question a long time ago because our program is called Rural Health Scholars. I went up to a table at orientation and I said, is anybody from rural Utah? And somebody said, what town is that by? I said, didn't know rural is a generic term. So, how many of you would consider yourselves coming from a rural community? Raise your hand. Well, good. We call our program Rural Health Scholars because we are in a rural community here, so all of you have chosen to come to a rural university. So you'll hear a theme of rural throughout this program. It does not mean you have to come from a rural background or necessarily go back and practice in a rural community. But if that is your passion, we really want to work with you. And you'll see that in a little bit of our history. How many of you are incoming freshmen? Raise your hands. Yay. Any transfer students? She's like, good. How many of you are from Utah? Awesome. How many from Nevada? Yay. Idaho? I was going to say, and at least one of our peer mentors. Good. How about California? Yay. Let's see. Arizona? New Mexico? Somebody. Any other states? Yell it out.
Colorado.
Colorado. Anybody else? Colorado?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Good. We're excited to have everybody, even though our program is very Utah focused, we're excited to have students from other states. How many of you are biology majors? How about chemistry majors? Nutrition majors? Good job. Exercise science? How about music? Did you know you could be a music major and still get to medical school? That can happen. Psychology. Good, good, good. You can choose any major you want and still do the prereqs for a healthcare graduate program. And you're going to learn that through this program. So I'm going to share a little bit of history with you. So you're going to hear the word AHEC. What the heck is AHEC? AHEC is also the name of our program. In fact, when you do your application for grad school, it'll say, have you ever been involved in an AHEC program maybe? Yes, you have. This is that program. This program was founded nationally in 1971. And here in Utah, it started in 1996. Our program is based at the University of Utah in the med school in the Department of Family and Preventive Medicine. If I ever hear any of you say preventative, so word choice number one, preventive. So does that mean it's easier for you to get into the University of Utah Medical School coming from this program? Not necessarily. But we do have a lot of resources at the University of Utah Medical School as well as other healthcare graduate programs. So we have a focus on a pipeline. So that means growing our own in rural communities or underrepresented communities. Finding students from those communities, getting them into the right training programs early, and then hopefully they'll come back and serve in rural and underserved programs. So RHS is a part of AHEC, okay? So we work with high school students. Has anybody gone to one of our high school summer camps? Yay, look at that, I love that. I'm so excited. So we offer summer camps. We offer one-day healthcare exploration camps out in rural communities. We work with college students. And then when you get to graduate school, you're going to have an opportunity to maybe come back and do an elective rotation in a rural community. And you're going to come work with us. If you decide to come back to Utah to practice, you may even work with us to get loan repayment if you serve in a rural community. You're going to learn a lot more about this. We also work with existing providers. We're the office on campus that just received a $1 million grant to work with the opioid crisis in some of the most vulnerable counties in Utah that are really suffering from that. And so there'll be some opportunities for you as students to participate in some of those programs. So we work with rural health issues and things like that. So we started this program in 2004, and the conversation I had with the Dean of Admissions at the University of Utah Med School at that time, SUU was getting maybe 2 or 3 students into medical school in those days. And I said, gosh, it'd be great if we had some rural seats carved out. And he said, you know, what you're doing down there is really exciting. I'll help you create a program, and you're going to get more students into medical school than we could ever save seats for you in our medical school. In those days, like I said, we got 2 to 3 students into medical school. Last year, we had about 25 students that got into medical school. So this program really has helped more students get into healthcare graduate programs. So we also have programs at other schools. We have a program at Dixie State. Anybody from St. George? Yay! We have a program at Snow College. We have a program at USU Eastern out in Price. So if you ever do decide to transfer to one of those schools, make sure you let us know so you can get into the program there. We do have a fee for the program. It's because we're funded through some federal grants. We are not a department of SUU. So your tuition dollars don't pay for our full-time staff salary support, our peer mentors. It's all generated by those student fees, unfortunately. I wish we didn't have to do that. But we've also found that since we're the pre-med advising office technically on campus, if you have a little bit of skin in the game, I hope you're going to use our services because you're paying for them. So use what we provide for you, okay? And the results of our program have been amazing. We've increased our acceptance rates to about 70 to 90% across the board. How many of you have heard that SUU has amazing acceptance rates? They wave those statistics way up the flagpole. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's not. How many of you heard about Rural Health Scholars from someone else, either in your high school or a family member, friend, or somebody's gone through the program? So word of mouth. Good, 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 good. That's always good. I always ask this question. It has not happened so far. Does anybody have a parent that's gone through the program? That's good, because on that day, I will retire. I'm done. I'm out of here when that happens. I'm out of here. I know it's going to happen pretty soon. I know a lot of you have known some of our successful alumni. If you've known any of our successful alumni, come and tell me who they are. A lot of times students say, you know, do you remember me? I remember everybody's gone through this program. It's been really fun. We started out with a really small group. So I love to hear if you've heard about our program from somebody who's gone through the program. So you can see how big our program has grown. It is a large program. You are a large group. We started out with about 46 students here at SUU. We work very hard to get to know each and every one of you. If you look at that number up here of 550 students at SUU, realize that about 100 of those students are much like your peer mentors. They're already applying. Some of them are in gap years, but we know who all of those students are, and we take a particular interest in you. Our program is for everybody, whether you're going to medical school, whether that's MD or DO. Most of our students do apply at both MD and DO. Whether it's dental, pharmacy, physician assistant, allied health, any of the health careers, come and see us. Even if you change your mind, like if you come in the door and you think I'm pre-nursing and you think, gosh, I could do med school, come and see us. We'd love to kind of change your trajectory and help you out. Likewise, if the science classes aren't working for you, come and see us. There are amazing healthcare careers out there where you can make a fantastic living for yourself without doing science classes. Anybody healthcare administration? You'll make more money than all of the rest of them. So there are some amazing opportunities. If you're a computer nerd, and you've never looked at bioinformatics, that's an amazing career field. Bioinformatics graduates are making upwards of $100,000 to $150,000 a year coming out of grad school. So come and see us if this is not where you want to go, but that passion that's got you here, sitting here today, needs to be channeled in another direction. Come and let us know. We're happy to talk with you about some other options for you. We even do vet school. Anybody pre-vet? Usually we have one or two, maybe not. Okay. We're going to show a video to you, and I'm going to tell you it's okay to laugh at this video, because if you don't laugh, I'm thinking something might be wrong. So it's a cute little video, a couple of minutes. So.
Can you tell me what I have to do to get into medical school?
Hi Nathan. Nice to meet you. So you want to be a doctor?
Yes, I want to help people. I'm going to be a pediatric neurosurgeon. Can you tell me if I will be accepted to a prestigious medical school?
Well Nathan, let's have a look at your transcript. I see that you have a 2.5 GPA. In order to be competitive for medical school, your GPA should be higher than this.
Yes, but I really want to be a pediatric neurosurgeon. I think once I'm in medical school, that I will be able to focus more on my science courses. My teacher in organic chemistry was very hard.
So Nathan, tell me about your volunteer experience.
I have been so busy studying for my classes with very hard professors that I have not done any volunteering yet. I tried to shadow a neurosurgeon, but he did not reply to my text message.
Well, medical schools really like to see that you have explored what it means to be a physician.
Yes, I did shadow my uncle last summer. He is a pharmaceutical salesman.
Are you involved in any organizations on campus?
Yes, I'm in pre-med EMSA.
What do you do in EMSA?
I attended a meeting last fall. I have spent so much time studying for my courses with hard professors that I have not had time to go again. Can you tell me what I should do to get into Harvard?
I do not think you will get into Harvard.
Yes, but my great-grandfather is an alumni.
I do not think you will get into Harvard.
If I do research, will that make me look good?
Research is a great way to learn about a very important facet of medicine.
Can you sign me up for a research project, please?
No, you will have to ask a professor. I do not think that you should become a doctor.
What if I get a 38 on my MCAT? Will I get into medical school?
If you get a 38 on the MCAT, I will run naked through campus and then quit my job to move to Saipan.
Great. Can you tell me how to get excellent letters of recommendation?
You will need to get to know your professors in order for them to write you good letters of recommendation.
I have never talked to my professors. Do you think they will still write me good letters of recommendation?
I think you should wait to apply to medical school. I do not want you to be my doctor.
I cannot wait. My parents really want me to become a doctor soon.
I do not think you should become a doctor.
I'm getting a C in biochemistry. Do you think I should drop it? Will it make me look bad?
I do not think dropping it will make you look any worse than you already do.
But I have dropped a course every semester.
Please, do not waste your parents' money on applying to medical school. I am going to go drink heavily now.
Thank you. Before I go, could you write me a letter of recommendation?
I would not write you a letter of recommendation to perform surgery on the mice that run through my kitchen every night. Are you sure you do not want to be a lawyer?
Okay, what did you get out of that? What did you learn? Tell me some things you learned. Uh-oh. It's going to be a tough group. Okay, excellent. Can't be afraid to put yourself out there. I love that. Exactly. If you have parents or somebody else pushing you through this, it's not going to work. Get involved, volunteer. Yep. Yep, it's a balance. It's academics, it's extracurriculars, it's everything. Time management is the most important tool you'll ever learn. I saw a hand over here.
I was just going to say the same thing, just it's more than just a classroom.
Awesome. Yep. There's a lot to this. This is like RHS 7 o'clock class in a nutshell. And I hope I don't have to be that person that has that hard conversation. But you will move through this gradually. I know this is kind of like deer in the headlights, but we'll move you through this in your first class with us. So you heard, what will get me into graduate school? What's going to make me look good on my application? Students ask me all the time, so-and-so got into the University of Utah Medical School. I want to do exactly what she did. Okay? There is no magic bullet. There's no recipe. Every single student's applications for graduate programs are very, very different. It is all about you. It's a chance for you to shine. So you need to ask these questions of yourself. Will these experiences that you're going to be doing transform you? Okay? You're going to grow a lot over the next 2 to 4 to 5, 6 years if you're a super senior. Will this experience push me out of my comfort zone? If you were an athlete in high school and every single activity you do in undergrad is all about athletics, did you really push yourself, or was that your comfort zone? So we want you to do activities and do things that are going to push you outside your comfort zone. Will you be helping others through this experience? Being empathetic is one of the characteristics that you need to develop as a future healthcare provider. So we'll provide you with the advice, but it's up to you to do the hard work. Our motto is your success is our success. There is nothing we are going to ask you to do in this program that is busy work. If you think it's busy work, then you don't understand what's required in the application process. So ask your peer mentors or come in and ask one of our staff if you're not understanding where that fits in the puzzle. We have no other reason to have this program than to help you be successful. So you'll hear this term a lot. It's called distance traveled. What distance have you traveled And that doesn't mean I came here from Vernal. It means emotionally, in your maturity levels and things like that. So have you tackled tough issues? Have you stretched yourself? Have you developed the qualities and characteristics of a good healthcare provider through your experiences? And what is it about your past that got you to where you are now? Many of you may have come from an underrepresented background. You may have come from a very small rural community. You may have come from a very dysfunctional family. And to get to graduate school, how many of you, by the way, are first-generation college students? Yay, me too! Love it. I think I'm going to start a first-gen club, actually, on campus, because there is none. Huh? Let's do it, you and me, this year. That'd be your legacy project. Okay. So if you were a first-generation college student, it's hard to come on a college campus. You don't know the ins and outs of this. It's very difficult. And then to go to graduate school? So think about how you are unique. Many of our students, anybody come from a farming or ranching background, done farming, ranching work? Raise your hands high. Got to see those. That is amazing. If you talk about that in your personal statement for graduate school, do you realize how unique you are? That is fantastic. So think about how you're unique, and let's help you showcase how you're unique in your application process. So here are the qualities of a healthcare provider. So these are the things that you're going to be learning and developing while you're in your undergraduate career. So every activity that you do, whether it's volunteering as a 4-H mentor, whether it's tutoring our Paiute kids, if it's going on one of our cultural immersion trips, you need to ask yourself internally, what of these skills am I developing? Because when you go out on your interviews, as many of your peer mentors are going out right now, you need to showcase your strengths. And developing these characteristics is what we want to help you with. So we do that in several different ways. It's interesting, several years ago, the University of Utah stopped looking so much at GPA and MCAT score. MCAT is the entrance exam for medical school. And they started a trend that has been actually picked up nationally by most all healthcare programs. It's called holistic approach to looking at an applicant. So it says, we realize that that 3.5 student is probably no more competitive necessarily than a 3.7 student. And on the MCAT scale, a 5.15 isn't that much different than a 5.18. They're still going to be good doctors. So we're going to put all that in one category, but we're going to look at you on some other levels. And so we're going to look at some of the things you do, and that's what our program focuses on. We hope all of you are at a 3.5 or higher GPA-wise. We hope you all do well at your entrance exam, or at least get to the bar that they're going to look at you. This is where you're going to shine. So we're going to focus on some service, some patient exposure, extracurricular activities, leadership, undergraduate research, job shadowing, and your academics and assistance with your entrance exams. And you're going to learn about these things in our Tuesday morning or Thursday morning classes. So don't feel that you don't understand this yet. That will come later. I do want to make a quick comment about job shadowing, since we have you all together. We will help you do job shadowing. Job shadowing is typically not done until your 3rd or 4th year in college, because you're going to need a letter of recommendation. So you want to cultivate that relationship and keep that relationship. Unless you come from a community where you can go back and shadow someone in your hometown or something, we would want you to wait on job shadowing until you get closer to application. If you do have the opportunity to job shadow any healthcare provider with Intermountain Healthcare, you must start in our office first. Amy Humphreys, Amy, will you raise your hand? Where'd you go? I'm right here. Amy is the contact for all Intermountain Healthcare job shadowing. For job shadowing, you'll have to have a series of immunizations that includes your Hep series. You have to have a current TB test, 2-step TB test done within the last year, current flu shot, things like that in line first. So most of you are probably not going to be doing job shadowing this year, but if you do have a family member, a friend who says come job shadow, if they're at Intermountain Healthcare, talk to Amy. If they're in a private practice, go job shadow, okay? Let's see, what are we next? Just the facts. So, the average MCAT for those students that get into medical school is about a 505 for MD and a 502 for DO. I know that means nothing to you right now. It will later. The average GPA for matriculates in medicine is, for all healthcare careers, is 3.5. It is higher for dentistry and medicine, and I will give a caveat for our SUU nursing program. Where's our nursing program? What's the average GPA of the matriculant? 3.8. 3.8. That's high. Guess what? We have some other nursing programs we're happy to chat with you about if you are not a 3.8 student, because I believe 3.2 students make great nurses. So anybody pre-PA, anybody thinking about physician assistant? It's an amazing career field. How long is graduate school for PA school? 2 years, yeah, it's pretty quick and easy. But there is a caveat for those of you going to PA school, or if you're thinking about switching to PA school, the average applicant to PA school has 2,000 hours of paid patient exposure. For medical school, the average applicant has maybe 50 hours of patient exposure, which can be volunteer. Big difference. So if any of you think, if I don't do med school, I'll do PA school, you really need to get a job in healthcare. Happy to chat with you about that. Is Emily here? Emily's not here. We have a peer mentor in our office who is pre-PA and happy to chat with you about that. And then you see the statistics about how competitive it is for medical school. So we have we have a binder that you have been given. That is actually your textbook for this class. Everything you need to know is in that binder. You just got to read it. We'll be referencing that sometimes in class, so use that. We do have access to a database for community service projects, but better than that, we are going to be doing a service fair that everybody needs to come to. It is on September, Casey, where are you? 17. Anyway, it's in your syllabus, which is in Canvas for the class. We're bringing all the service organizations that we work with, including the hospital and long-term care centers, to SUU's campus just for you guys to talk to, which is pretty cool. So we're going to make it really easy for you to connect with an organization to get your service hours done. In your first class, we're going to ask you to do 25 hours of community service this semester. It's only about 2 hours a week if you get started right away. It really sucks if you don't get started until Thanksgiving. So we do enhanced academic advising. We want you to work very closely with your academic advisors. But then their goal, and you need to understand this, their goal is to get you graduated in as short of amount of time as possible. So they're going to rush you through 18 credit hours every semester. Is 18 credit hours every semester feasible if you want to maintain your GPA and you're taking organic chemistry and physics and you have to work? So the advice we give you may be different. You need to own both sets of information and ultimately make your own choices, okay? Come and see us. If you don't understand why one of us is asking you to slow down, talk to us, dig deeper into that. I would much rather you take 5-6 years in undergrad, your parents don't want to hear that, but, and get to medical school, as opposed to being that student that graduates with a 3.0 and doesn't go anywhere, okay? Slow and steady wins the race. We have patient exposure opportunities for you. We have test preparation when you get to that point, job shadowing. We also do mock interviews, so when you get to that point, this year we did an interview boot camp this summer. It was a one-day experience where it was a total mock interview from the time you walk in till the time you leave. You had lunch with med students, things like that that we arranged. So that was a really cool experience. So there are certain experiences for you as you go through this program. Certain things are really applicable to you right now as freshmen. Certain things will be applicable to you as sophomores. Hopefully in your junior year, you're going to be what we call a pre-applier. So if you're getting ready to apply that summer, then we're going to work with you that whole year to make sure you are a competitive applicant. And then after you submit your application in the summertime, you'll do interviews in the fall, which would typically be a senior year. You don't pay to be in RHS that year. We hire you to be a mentor or a peer mentor or a tutor or something like that. So we also do a lunch bunch with you where we do mock interview questions, things like that when you're in that phase. So there are certain things for you along each year. So we do some cultural immersion trips. You're going to hear about that in our panel discussion. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but you'll get information about that. We talked a little bit about our peer mentoring. We have a lending library. We have free private tutoring. I tell students this all the time. The difference between getting into med school might be the difference between a B+ and an A. You know what the difference between a B+ and an A is? Tutor. You are all bright students. I know you are. And you may have never had to use a tutor, and you may think tutors are for those students. I'm here to tell you, use a tutor early, before you get that first test back. Our tutors have gone through these classes. They know how to help you study for those exams. Then we do an application workshop when you get ready to apply. We have leadership opportunities available for you. So this is how our program's structured. You're in a one credit class right now. It's either section 1, which is geared for pre-graduate students. So if you're going to med school, dental school, PT school, PA school, any of those graduate school programs, you're in section 1, which is Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. If you are pre-nursing, we would like for you to be in section 2, which is Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Okay? If you have questions about that, see one of our staff about that. Then, every semester that you're in the program, from here on out, you will take a University 3000 class. Okay? That is offered a variety of different times and a variety of different topics. It's totally up to you. So that's where you take charge of this program. So we have classes like medical skills taught by a local nurse. We have a physical therapy seminar. We have a dental practicum. We have a PA seminar. These are all taught by community members who are in the profession. Okay? So it becomes a little more selective for you. They're offered at different times. Several of the courses are online. We know that your time is going to fill up very quickly. So we even offer some book groups. Anybody study mindfulness? Mindfulness is a skill I would encourage you to develop right now. It will help you with your stress levels. It will help you with anxiety and depression. We have a book group called Mindful Learning. You're not eligible to take those classes until next semester. Okay? So that's as you move forward. We do have, has anybody heard of Rocky Vista in Ivans? So Ivans is a town just south of us, and there's a brand new medical school down there that was built 3 years ago. They just admitted their 3rd class. We have an early acceptance program with them and some other healthcare graduate programs. This gives you just a brief outline of what's going to be expected. Next fall, if you're interested in the EAP program, you will take one of your University 3000 seminars, and it will be the Rocky Vista Early Acceptance Seminar, and you can apply to that. Leif, where are you? Leif is our Rocky Vista EAP peer mentor. He will be matriculating to Rocky Vista next fall. Yay! And if you have specific questions, he can help you out with some of those. But just keep that in the back of your mind. This is a cool program because you do not have to take the MCAT exam. That's pretty cool. We're going to encourage you still to take that MCAT because you're going to be taking standardized tests the rest of your life as a physician. And Rocky Vista may not be the right fit for you. Our goal is to help you find the right med school that's the right fit for you. We do have early acceptance programs for nursing as well, with the University of Utah nursing program, Roseman nursing program. For dental, we have an early assurance program with Roseman's dental program. Rocky Mountain PT program, and what else am I missing?
Pharmacy. And pharmacy.
Pharmacy as well. We're working on a PA early admissions program with Rocky Mountain as well. And you'll hear more about that in our Tuesday morning class. So some of our results, we've just had some amazing results. I will let you know, we have students all the time who say, so I'm gonna, much like that little video, I'm gonna go to Harvard, right? How many of you wanna go to Harvard? Our students, really, we are a rural regional university. And so our students going to medical school, 60% of our students going to medical school go to an osteopathic medical school. About 20% of our pool each year gets into the University of Utah, and only about 20% of our pool really does go to an out of Utah MD school. The competition factor is huge. You really have to carve out a lot of time to study and to do even more extracurricular activities if you want to be competitive for an out of Utah MD school. This is some advice from one of our alumni who is in a surgical residency program. He went to Pacific Northwest for medical school. He said, don't hesitate to share my story with anyone having doubts about whether they will be successful in medical school. Let them know that an entrance exam does not determine how successful they will be. They are the ones that determine their success. Tell them never to give up on their dreams of medicine. It is an extremely difficult thing to go through, but it's all worth it at the moment a patient or family member thanks you for what you've done. It's very humbling to know that people are trusting you with their personal life and telling you things they've never told anyone. We can make such a difference in people's lives, and that's why we can never give up on our dream of being a healthcare provider. RHS has helped hundreds, if not thousands, of students become healthcare providers. Because of RHS, thousands of people are receiving care. I will tell you, the student, I have permission to tell you, he has one of the lowest MCAT scores I ever saw in my career. And he matched with medical school. He went to a brand new medical school that didn't have any reputation, and he is now going to be a surgeon. And I am so very proud of this young man. So much so it makes me choke up, but that's why we don't have an entrance requirement for rural health scholars. We're not saying you have to come in the door with a 4.0. I am going to work just as hard for that student that comes in the door with a few barriers and comes from a rural or underrepresented community than I am that urban 4.0 student. We're going to work hard for all of you, but we're going to care just as much for you if you've had some challenges in your life. We do have some social media. Get out your phones right now. Is that where it's going on?
Yeah, you can do it now.
Get out your phones right now. Follow our social media. It is an assignment in your class to follow our social media. We put a lot of stuff out there. You're already getting our emails. You get weekly emails from us with lots of opportunities. But if something comes up, a job, in the middle of the week, we're putting it on our social media. So follow all of our social media platforms and stay connected to what we're doing. We put good stuff out there. We put opportunities for scholarships out there that sometimes don't make it into the weekly email that you're getting. Okay? Your homework today, starting today, is focus on your academics. Your GPA will stay with you your whole time in college. If you end up with a 3.1 GPA and you want to go to medical school, there's nothing you can do to change that. Staying here a couple extra semesters isn't going to help. Retaking classes is not going to help. You will have to go get a master's degree at what we call a post-bac to remedy that situation. A post-bac will cost you $55,000 or more. Pay attention now to your academics. Don't have a pattern of withdrawals. So if you have one class you need to take a W, you'll understand that after a certain point in time, and we'll cue you sometimes when that time is, usually on social media, you can drop a class, but after a certain date, you're going to get a W on your transcript. Pattern of W on your transcripts for more than one class will show a graduate school that you're not taking things very seriously, or that you overcommit, and then you can't fulfill what you've been obligated to do, okay? So be cognizant of add drop dates, no retakes, utilize our tutoring, no disciplinary action. I always tell freshmen this the first day you step foot on this campus. You may get invited to a party tonight. Yay, that's so exciting. Go, have fun. Do not drink. Do not take any drugs. Okay? Do not have any disciplinary actions. If you have anything in your criminal background checks, you will not be able to get into a healthcare graduate program. Do you get how serious this is? Okay? So, no disciplinary actions on campus either. When you go to a healthcare graduate program, they're going to go back to the dean of students at your undergraduate institution and ask for your report. So, be good. Clean up your Facebook, your email, your voicemail. How many of you have voicemail that's set up so you can receive a message? It's amazing how many people we call and there's no voicemail. You can't leave a voicemail. Offices don't text people, so please have a professional voicemail, okay? Check your email at least once a day, okay? And you should have an email address, maybe that's a professional email address, not Fuzzy Wuzzy Bunny #1, okay? Now's the time to become a little bit more professional. If you do change your email, let us know because you've already given us an email and that's how we're contacting you, so please make sure that you tell us. Clean up your Facebook, your social media. I interview for medical schools, and I will tell you one of the first things I do if I'm doing some interviews, and everybody I know who interviews, is we check your social media, okay? We're checking you out in advance. What does it tell me if you don't have any social media out there? Maybe they have bad time management. What does it tell me if you have a lot of yucky stuff on your social media? So be really careful at what your digital footprint looks like, because it may come back to haunt you. So add Rural Health Scholars to follow our social media, check your email regularly, start doing some service. Our class is on Canvas, and I think we have it up. Casey, is it up? So it's published. You can start looking on that. There aren't a lot of assignments. We are going to ask you to attend, I said, our service fair. We are going to ask you to attend the grad fair on campus this semester. That's when graduate schools come here. I have students who will talk to the same medical school admissions person every year for 3 years. So when they get ready to apply, they know that person. Colin's shaking his head. Did you do that?
Yeah, Diane.
Yeah, he even knows her by first name.
She knows.
The admissions director at a school that he wants to go to. So it's a way to start networking. We'll have a little assignment that will even ask you to go visit 3 of those graduate schools. Stop by our office. You're going to be asked to set up a meeting with your peer mentor. You do that by coming to our office in person. You can't do it electronically. We want you to come in our office and set that appointment up, and we'll tell you how to do that. Our office is on the 3rd floor of the science building, on the older part of the science building. Here's our contact information. It's also on your syllabus. And I think we're doing a panel discussion next. So we're going to invite some of our peer mentors up, and Casey's going to lead that for you. So I'm so excited you're all here. I have an open door policy. If I'm in my office, please come in and say hello to me, introduce yourselves to me. We'd love to chat with you and get to know you better. So thank you for being here.
Okay, if I came around and tapped you and told you you were on the panel, come on up here. Okay. Couldn't have everybody on here. We have our,
Right here? Oh no, you just got us here. You're invited. That's cool.
okay, so we have another peer mentor who's pre-PA who isn't here today. And then we have, will the other peer mentors stand up? Okay, so dental, and then we have 3 others that are pre-med. So if you have other questions, you can ask them too. Okay, so the first question is, I want you guys to introduce where you're from, your name, what's your major, and then what's your discipline, and then of course something interesting about you. Colin, it better be good.
Those are cordless mics, so you can take them off and pass them around.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Colin Rosander. Where I'm from, correct? I am from Phoenix, Arizona. Let's see, the heart of the desert. And an interesting, I'm my major.
Major in.
So I'm majoring in biology, disciplines pre-dental, and something interesting about myself. Oh, let's see. I'm a below average golfer. But if you check my Tinder, I'm a scratch golfer. I'm only 5'11", but I say I'm 6 foot. Oh, sorry. I thought we were speed dating.
Well, I hope he's not speed dating because we recently got engaged, so, but...
I'm engaged.
Okay, my name is Abigail Bishop. I'm pre-med. I have majored in human nutrition. I finished that this last year. And I'm staying and finishing a biology degree for him because he has another year. And yeah, I'm engaged. That's my fun fact.
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Logan, Utah.
Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Jones. I'm from Boise, Idaho. With these guys I'm applying. I'm a peer mentor. I have a major in biology and minor in chemistry, and I'm obviously pre-med. I guess my fun fact is I just got my interview invite from the U, so that's pretty exciting.
I can take this. Hi, I'm Rachel Sloan. I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was the girl who cheered out there because there's only a couple New Mexicans out here. My major is exercise science. I'm pre-PT, and a fun fact, I used to do competitive jump rope and travel and compete for that.
She has the coolest, interesting fact. I'm Katie Sardoni. I'm from Kanab, Utah. I am in the nursing program. So nursing is my major and my discipline. And an interesting fact about me is that I've ridden in a hot air balloon.
Hi, my name is Morgan Trelease. I'm from Salt Lake City. My discipline is I'm pre-optometry, and my major, I did the interdisciplinary studies major, so I did a bunch of different things. An interesting fact about me is that I tore my ACL in my senior year of high school.
Next question. Are you ready? You're starting. Okay. If you could go back to yourself as a freshman and give yourself a piece of advice, what would it be?
Start shadowing like right now. You guys need to get a hold of, whether it's dentists or doctors. Some people are really nice about it. Some doctors are really good and they understand you have to do it. So I applied to the University of Colorado. They require 50 hours of shadowing. And Rita's gonna kill me, but I waited. And so I called 10 dental offices. Absolutely no response. I went into dental offices. They said, oh, we'll let you know. And they didn't respond to me. And luckily enough, I had 2 at the very end, about a month before I applied, that let me shadow. So yeah, if you guys start right now. Yeah, I guess that would be one.
I guess the one thing that I would say is that I wish I would have had more belief in myself that I could do it. I started this process thinking that I could maybe start pre-med and then veer off to whatever I fit into, but I'm really glad I stuck with pre-med and made it through. And you guys all are bright and capable. You're all here today. You all can do it. So just focus on those classes and you'll be fine.
So if I could speak to myself as a freshman, I want to echo what Abby said, just believe in yourself, because what I guess my thoughts are that we are going to ask a lot of you as rural health scholars, and that's not necessarily us, that's more of the profession that you're choosing to go into, even if it's nursing or PA or med school or dental school, whatever it is, you're going to be asked more of than your peers here at the university, and I'm not afraid to say that. And so we're going to ask you to walk and chew gum, and it's going to be overwhelming at times, but try to keep up and try to believe in yourself and balance find the right balance between school and between your personal life and between shadowing and volunteering and the leadership opportunities that are there and all of the different things that we have for you to do. You can do it, and so just pick some things and do your very best. So
I would just kind of go along with the same theme. I remember being at orientation and sitting there and almost crying because I was so nervous, hearing all the things I had to do. I had no friends, I didn't know anyone, I missed my mom and my dog. And I just sat there and I was like, I think I'm going to start bawling in front of everybody. So if any of you are you're feeling anxious about a new school year, just know that there's other people out there that feel the same way. And if you just go out, what I love about college is it's a completely fresh start. So if you want to be a different person than you were in high school, you can decide, especially because maybe you have friends from high school, but there's going to be a ton of people that don't know you. Decide early in your freshman year what type of person you want to be, and just go with that and be confident with that. And people can change through college, and so I just really just know that everything's going to be okay, and just be confident in yourself.
I think my biggest tip that I would have given myself as a freshman would have been to start practicing time management skills. As a freshman, you will think that you are so busy, and you're not. And when you get into a graduate program or the nursing program, you will be so overwhelmed with all that you have to do. And that's not meant to scare you. That's just the truth. And if you can go buy a planner today and just write down like your class times, write down your assignments. There's apps that you can use that will keep track of all your assignments, because believe me, maybe not all of your professors will use Canvas in the same way, and you'll kind of have to keep track of those assignments on your own. So yeah, just use those planners, use whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you, and really practice that time management, because sometimes you'll think that you don't have enough time to study for that, or you don't have enough time to hang out with your friends because you have to study for this, but believe me, like, you can make time for the things that matter most to you.
Mine goes kind of along with hers, but mine is like, do one thing at a time. And like, you're gonna have so much to do at one time, but just focus on one thing, get that done, and then move on. Like, don't think about everything that you have to do, just do one thing at a time.
Okay, before I do the next question, Rita pulled up the cultural immersion trips that we have. I'm over all the cultural immersion trips. If you have questions, come and see me. But we take 2 trips to the Dominican Republic, one in May and one in December. We take a trip to Panama in the spring, and then Four Corners. And then we take a trip to Nepal, which is actually 2 weeks. All of our trips are just 1 week, but Nepal is 2 weeks. So this question kind of goes along with the cultural immersion trips. So did all of you guys go on cultural immersion trips? Okay. So 3 and 3 down. Well, if you went on a cultural immersion trip, where did you go and what was the best part about it?
So I went to Panama during spring break. Yeah. And what did we learn? I mean, you get out.
The best part of it.
Oh, the best part.
Yeah.
You get out of the bubble. So we're very fortunate here. And you realize that very quickly when you go and help these disadvantaged people and underserved populations, I guess. Yeah, it's eye-opening, and everyone is just, they're super thankful. Yeah, it was a really good experience. That was probably what was the best part of it. I mean, you really felt like you were making a difference. So.
Okay, I've done 2 trips with RHS. I did their Las Vegas trip, which they no longer have, and their Nicaragua trip, which they no longer have. But both of them are similar to trips that they have currently. Things that I learned on the Las Vegas trip, that there is need even like where you would not expect it. We went and worked with like a homeless population in Las Vegas, and we were able to give them basic health screenings because if they can't afford a home, they're probably not insured. And so things like that. It was very interesting to just have that eye-opening experience in Las Vegas as well as in Nicaragua. Like Colin said, you get outside the bubble, you get outside of your comfort zone. I remember it's like the first time I left the country without my parents. My dad wasn't super stoked about that, but it's just a really eye-opening experience, just a different culture and communicating with people in a different language. Josh helped me out a ton because he's fluent in Spanish, and like you'll have translators, and it's just a really neat opportunity to grow a lot.
So I also went to Las Vegas over fall break back in the day, and then also went to Panama this last spring, which was incidentally my first time out of the country. How many of you never traveled outside the country? Raise your hands. There's a lot of you. So I was in the same boat. So start saving your nickels and your dimes now, because that is a golden opportunity for you to go and to travel and to experience a truly diverse population and be able to be immersed in that. That was my first time being immersed in a place where I did not speak the language. I knew just enough Spanish to get myself in trouble. And yeah, so it's a great opportunity in Panama and as well as Las Vegas. Like Abby said, there's needs right here on the home front that you can become aware of. So best experience, that was the question, right? I don't know, it was very engaging to me. I love the clinical aspect of going to Panama and helping do the health clinics that we held alongside the Panamanian doctors. That was a really great experience. It was very hands-on and a very real sense of practicing healthcare alongside and under the supervision of the doctors there. So that was a really, really cool opportunity, and they have the same in the DR and elsewhere. So.
I should have done, sorry. Okay, and then the next question, the best part about, or the most helpful thing in RHS?
The interview boot camp. Yeah, I mean, I think you work for 3 years. You do you guys are going to do all the classes. It's going to beat you down. You do the shadowing, you do the volunteer work, and you think you're ready to go, and you're very proud of yourself. And then interviewers ask you questions, and you are no longer proud of yourself. They make you feel like you haven't done anything. So just to get that experience, they're very picky. RHS was very picky, but when I did my interview, I went to Nova. I interviewed yesterday. Oh, it's in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. It was much more laid back, but it was still really good. I mean, to make sure that you were wearing the proper clothing and not doing anything that is kind of frowned upon, which I don't know if any of you have been in a truly professional setting, but I have never. So it was a really good experience just to have that.
Okay, I have two favorites. One would be the peer mentor meetings that you will have every semester throughout this undergraduate experience. They're really valuable because you get to sit down with one of us who's been through what you're going through, and you get to talk about where you're at with your classes, as well as what you're struggling with, if you're getting those volunteer hours, if you're shadowing. It's just a really good kind of checkpoint to make sure you're on the right track throughout this whole process. So sometimes people don't utilize them as much as they should. That's really valuable. And I guess the second thing I would say is the actual application workshop that you go through. We just went through it. It's in May of your applying year, so your junior year, and it's just really neat to be able to sit down with Casey and Amy and Rita and just show them what you've done over the last 3 years and put it into formal writing for graduate programs and turn it in. It's really a rewarding experience, and they're going to help you with all of that. So those are my two favorite things.
My answer is a little bit more nebulous, but I think it'll make sense when I explain it. I think that the most valuable resource that RHS has for you is a sense of direction. So I have friends at other universities that seem to be wandering lost in the abyss of what you have to do to qualify for graduate school, whether it be any discipline. And what RHS offers you is very, I think, unique to SUU and is a huge resource for you. It's worth every dime to be able to give you a direction of this are the things you need to do and when you need to do it and what resources we have for you You know, the perfect example is the volunteer fair that they're going to be holding. Take advantage of every resource that RHS has to offer you. You guys are the ones paying the fee every semester to be here. And so if you hear peers saying RHS isn't worth it, it's a waste of money, it hasn't really helped me, that's because they're not taking advantage of all of the resources that are available to you. So hopefully that answers it. And start writing your experiences down, keeping a journal. They're going to require you to do that in your 7 a.m. class. And everything that you need to know is in your binder. That is like the gold standard. That should be like the pre-med Bible right there.
Mine is kind of the same thing. I'm really grateful that RHS forced me to get those first 25 hours of service, because I remember when they said that in that 7 a.m. class, I was like, oh, that's so stupid. Like, I don't have time for that. And I look back and I'm like, wow, we were naive. But yeah, getting those shadowing and mainly service hours early on really does help your application. Like, it was fun to apply right now. I put stuff that I did from my freshman year. I'm like, oh, I was a tutor for this. And that really helps. And also, I didn't want to do this either, but they forced you to write down like a summary of what you did and how it changed you. That was so helpful, writing my personal statement. I could look back and see how my experiences affected me, and that was really useful. So be really diligent with your shadowing and your service hours and writing it down. And also, one tip that helped me is keep an Excel sheet of all your shadowing hours, because you will need to report that, and it's kind of a pain. And so yeah, just having RHS really helped me be organized with that and start early.
I'm going to echo what Rachel just said. The service hours may seem daunting at first, but they are so valuable. And when you do your applications, they matter so much. And that's one thing that will make you look really good, is to have those hours every semester, so that you are involved, you are doing other things besides taking classes. And really, as a healthcare provider, you're serving people all the time. So getting used to that and finding how you like that is a great learning experience that these service hours and that obligation that you have in your classes will provide you.
I feel like being at the end, all of my answers get said by the time we get down here. But just to reiterate, the two things that I found the most helpful were my peer mentor appointments and the service hours that they require you in the first class. But my peer mentor last year helped me so much, because it was the year right before I was applying, and so I'm super stressed out and worrying, I don't know if I can make it, whatever. But my peer mentor calmed me down and helped me realize that I can do it, and I can make it through any hard things I can. So.
If there's anything else you want to add, we're going to open it up for questions. So if you guys have any questions, raise your hand and we'll have one of our peer mentors bring the microphone around. Questions? Any questions?
What's the hardest part of RHS? What's the hardest part of
I was like, do you have an answer? Okay.
Yeah, I was talking. The hardest part, it's not RHS. Being in RHS is really good, it's helpful. It's the classes that you're going to take and everything you have to do at the same time. I was talking to the pre-meds, and then the one pre-med guy. I was talking to them, and the class, so organic chemistry, is the one class that is the weeder class for medicine, dental, and then PA. That semester, so you normally take that your sophomore year, that is a killer. And you're expected to do all of the shadowing still, the volunteer work, have a life, just to show admissions committee that you do go outside. It's difficult. It is super difficult. So I would say, yeah, RHS, there's not really a hard part of RHS necessarily. They kind of kick your butt at the beginning, make you get up early for that 7 a.m. class, and then write stuff down, but it all ends up helping tremendously.
Did you all hear that? Like everybody else in the room?
So the question was, how did you prepare for your entrance exam? So I can only speak to the MCAT because that's what I took. So I took the MCAT twice, and it's a monster. I'm going to tell you right now, you should fear it because it will eat you alive and spit you out. But you can conquer that beast. Don't don't be dismayed by that. So I took it twice. I took it once back in April, and I scored decent. I did pretty middle of the road as far as scores go, but I did not do very much to prepare in advance because I was in the middle of a bunch of classes and getting ready to apply, and having life and all those things. So I didn't study for it as much as I should have. I took some practice exams, and I did decent on it. But then I retook the exam. After taking 6 weeks off of work, school, I had nothing on my plate. I cleared my whole schedule for 6 weeks, and I spent about 50 hours a week in the library poring over review books and practice tests and practice passages and all that, and brought my score up by 9 points. So it was a big victory there, and so I was very happy with it. But you're just going to have to be very dedicated, but don't stress yourselves out about that too much at this point. I guess my advice for all of you as freshmen right now, regardless of what entrance exam you're going to take, is stop being so concerned with your grades and start being more concerned about learning the content. You're going to have a lot of your peers, and you will fall into this trap of like, well, do I really need to know this, or do I just need to cram it right before the exam? Well, you know what? All of the Gen Chem stuff is going to come back and bite you right in the butt when you come to the MCAT and you just cram that and you didn't actually learn it. So focus on learning and less on your grades, because if you're concerned about learning content, the grades will follow.
So I am not the pre-dental advisor to ask about entrance scores. Brandon, raise your hand, Brandon. Yeah, so that guy's a master at the DAT. He slayed it. For me, I did full-time study. I didn't study as much as I probably should have, but it ended up being okay. So, oh yeah, do it.
I didn't really want to say much, but I guess I've got it. So. Yeah, I kind of like how Andrew was saying, I took the whole summer. I ended up taking it a year earlier than most people do, and I just took the whole summer. I quit working, didn't go to school or anything, and I'd spent 3 months, 6 days a week, 6 to 7 hours a day, just cramming for the DAT. So just put in the work is the biggest thing. I think you gotta, like Andrew said, really hit the content hard when you're in the classes, and then come back and hit it again right before you take your test.
It is doable.
Yeah, when they talk about how much time they spend, you'll hear us tell you, it's your full-time job. Once you're applying, that's your full-time job. Prepping for your tests, that's your full-time job right there.
Just what I was going to say, I don't know if they're still going to do it, but last semester RHS had a test prep seminar, and that
We'll still be doing that.
Okay, so that really helped me because I got to sit down with it was actually my peer mentor and another mentor that are going to school now, but we sat down and like every week we would just go over content, and like any questions I had, they would answer it and then give me like tips and tricks on how to like manage my time or get through the test in an effective way.
Yeah, we also do, if you sign up for that test prep course, or if you're in the process of prepping for your exam, we actually do mock tests. We do one each month, the spring semester, and we buy those for you, and you can come in and take 4 different practice tests, and if we have extras, sometimes students will even get more if they're lucky. But we do everything we can to help you guys prep for those tests, and we have our peer mentors who will actually be teaching in the spring. So some of you are older, I know some of you guys aren't freshmen, and you will be taking one of your exams maybe in the summer. That'd be a really good one to take in the spring after you've done the intro course. So, any other questions? Oh, yeah.
So, I guess not everybody here is a freshman,
Yeah.
but I really like that question. What if I could go back and say something to my freshman self, what would I say? I would say find yourself. I would say find yourself. This is your time to find yourself. I came and I thought I was pre-med, and I thought you will find out new strengths, new weaknesses, and you'll think you're one thing, you think you're pre-dental, pre-med, and then you